Hey guys, this is Justin from RWS CrossFit. We're going over the third video in our series about food as fuel. So, lastly, we're going to talk about micronutrients and supplements. I'm not going to go into a great deal of depth on this because I really could go on for days about micronutrients. There's so freaking many of them. But there are a few really notable ones, especially for people that train hard, that a lot of people are deficient in, and it causes a whole lot of health problems, not to mention performance issues. So the first one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is hugely important. It's actually more of a hormone than a vitamin, but that wouldn't really go over too well if the government was talking about supplementing hormones. So anyway, vitamin D is important. Vitamin D deficiency is called rickets. I think in the early 1900s there was a big epidemic of it. It's when people were like bow-legged and the kids' bones didn't form correctly. And the government responded to that by fortifying milk with vitamin D. That's why vitamin D is in milk. Anyway, reason why you should care about vitamin D. It's responsible for developing your bones. It plays a big part in protein synthesis. And deficiency of vitamin D is associated with a dramatically increased risk for pretty much any kind of disease. Flu, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancer, all of that has been strongly linked to vitamin D deficiency. So, as far as performance concerns, why you should care about vitamin D, those are health concerns. Protein synthesis, right there. If you don't have enough vitamin D, you will not synthesize nearly as much protein after your workout, which means you're a lot more likely to waste all of that effort that you just expended. So vitamin D is important. I'm going to say that again. As far as how much to supplement, if you aren't in the sun for like an hour a day at high noon, which most people aren't unless you work outside, you should supplement anywhere between 2,500 and 10,000 units a day. 10,000 units a day is pretty much the maximum threshold where you can do that indefinitely and not worry about toxicity. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means if you take in more than you need, your body will store the remainder. That's not a bad thing. It just means that if you have been deficient for a while, it'll take some time to supplement to kind of make up that gap. So that's vitamin D. Next up, we have fish oil. You've probably heard about fish oil at some point. Fish oil is more of a health thing. That's why you should care about fish oil. And performance only tangentially, in that if your health sucks, your performance will suffer. As far as fish oil, basically your blood work is going to be a lot better. It elevates your HDL, that's your good cholesterol, and it lowers your triglycerides, which is really what you should care about. Those two numbers are what you should care about as far as your blood work goes. So there have been some studies that show fish oil to have a beneficial effect on inflammation throughout your body. It's kind of inconclusive on that. What's really conclusive is that it improves your blood work. It makes you less likely to die. So you can't get in better shape if you're dead. Fish oil. So next up we have magnesium. I talked about magnesium briefly in a previous video where I talked about how it's necessary for every muscular contraction. You actually use up a tiny amount of magnesium every time you move. It also plays a big part in bone density, and it also plays a role in energy production. So magnesium is a very important micronutrient that a lot of Americans are deficient in just because of our diet. So supplement magnesium, at least the RDA each day, just in case you're not getting enough of it through your diet. Next up, we have zinc. Zinc is another nutrient that a lot of people are deficient in, and the consequences of being deficient in zinc are pretty drastic. Zinc is a little bit easier to get from your diet than magnesium. Magnesium, you have to find it from select vegetables. Zinc is a lot more common in meats. So the reason why oysters are a supposed aphrodisiac is because of zinc. They are very high in zinc. Zinc is necessary for proper endocrine function. Your endocrine system is your hormones. You may have noticed we've been talking about that. Libido, with a happy face. Normal testosterone production requires adequate zinc. Zinc also plays a role in insulin sensitivity. Basically, the more insulin sensitive you are, the farther you are from being diabetic. Diabetes is the extreme of insulin insensitivity. This short version of insulin sensitivity, the more insulin sensitive you are, the less you have to secrete in order for it to do its job. So if you have to secrete extra insulin, it can have an inflammatory effect on your body, wreak havoc throughout your circulatory system, and tell your body to store more fat than it needs to. So insulin resistance is all kinds of bad. Insulin sensitivity is wonderful. We like that. Lastly, branched chain amino acids, BCAAs. So what these are, they're amino acids, that's the basic building blocks of protein. Branched chain just means that they are in their rawest form ready for your body to use. So supplementation of BCAAs has been pretty conclusively proven to minimize breakdown of muscle tissue when you're working out hard. So it aids recovery and it aids protein synthesis after your workout. All these things. It minimizes the breakdown and it promotes the anabolism. It promotes building them up. So these are just a few of the myriad supplements out there. These are the ones that they will give you the most bang for your buck. I'm not going to go tell you to get a shit ton of expensive supplements because fact of the matter is most people don't need them. Anyway, that concludes our video for micronutrients and supplements, and that concludes our series on food as fuel. Hope you enjoyed it.